So groovy.
It's the California vibe. Coming to you live from Southern California, it's Ira Bowman and Kelly Robinson.
I'm East Coast. What up?
I'm from the best coast, the West Coast.
Got that.
You people from the East are so arrogant. It's the least coast and the best coast, and I know because it rhymes. If it doesn't rhyme, it ain't true.
Where's our girl Paula? She does the rhymes.
I don't know. She's in Canada. Doesn't matter. So, anyways, I love maple syrup. Now, don't get me in trouble, Kelly. All right, everybody. My name is Ira. Welcome to LinkedIn Live. I've been advertising this thing for a couple of days, which I don't usually do, but I did this time because I wanted people to jump in. Look, COVID-19 has been a huge pain in everybody's rear. It's changed almost everybody's life, flipped it upside down. In fact, today, officially, I no longer work for ARC. In fact, I just got an email from HR just a second for a signature thing that I got to sign off, and I'm done with them. So anyways, it's obviously making an impact on people in their life. And so you and I talked about, hey, let's do a show together, and let's talk about Panna Knows. Let's talk about, what you got going on with myVAB, and I'm got going on with myVAB too, because I'm a part of it. Awesome. And you support Project Help You Grow, which is amazing. And a lot of people go, Ira, what is this Panna Knows thing? What is it? And so I'm like, yeah, let's talk about it. So first of all, Panna Knows, I just want to get this thing going here. Panna Knows is attracting and retaining top talent for your clients. So you're a recruiting agency, but you don't just find the people and forget it. You help them retain them too. So you want to talk about that a little bit? Let's kick the show off with a little bit about Panna Knows, because obviously that's the foundation for everything that you and I do together.
Yep. Hey, everyone. I see everyone in here. That's awesome. But can I write comments in there or no?
You can write comments. Yes, you can.
I'm going to try to figure out how. I don't have the option, but
you got to do it on LinkedIn or YouTube, depending on where they're writing.
Not on the live. Okay, never mind. Okay. Hi, everyone. So I'm Kelly, and I not just support Project Help You Grow. I mean, like I sponsor Project Help You Grow, but I, support all things Ira Bowman, right? As we all do.
Thank you for that.
That's what we do. That's what we do.
Batman is in the house.
Joe Stepkey, Batman.
Speaking of maple syrup, we had to show that after
we just Paula, we talked about you. I don't know if you heard
us. Smack about Canada, actually, but in full disclosure,
and Tina,
Damon's here. They're all here. Look at this.
Oh, my buddies. All right, so let's talk about Panna Knows. So, Panna Knows is a recruiting company. So different than like a staffing agency. My clients or my partners will retain me specifically for a specific opening or ongoing needs. So they may be paying me hourly fees, monthly fees, per hire fees, all kinds of things. So I can help with either finding one person or pipelining. So I really partner with them. So I know their company inside and out. We spend a lot of time with them, and I require exclusivity. So they're not working with anyone else, because we're going to put in the time and effort, my team and I, and we're going to get it done. So how we do the retaining piece is we make sure that we make good matches, and then we keep in touch with the people, and we do 30-day follow-up interviews to make sure things are going well for them. They often will share things with me and my team because we recruited them, so they have the original relationship with us. That's it in a nutshell, but we'll work with you. So I was a managing partner of a larger but still small boutique $5 million firm for many, many years. And we had a very specific service where it's like you fit in the box or you don't. And so I will not do that. I'll work with you. If someone says I need to pay you hourly, fine. Pay you monthly, fine. Whatever they want to do.
That's cool. So there's a million ways we could go with this. I want to step out of the Panna Knows box for just a second. We're going to talk more about it, I'm sure. And in fact, I've just invited, I don't know if you saw, I said, hey, if you guys have questions, let us know. Right. So let's see where they want to go. But you and I we're like you said, we're friends way more than just Panna Knows and Project Help You Grow. But I appreciate it. And you use me for some graphic stuff now, which is fun. The little gift stuff, which is cool. And we're working on some SEO stuff for your website. So I've got that. Speaking of your website, I've got that flashing in the ticker. I want you guys to check out pannaknows.com. What Kelly does, whatever she does it with excellence. And that's something that I do appreciate about you, because I try to do the same myself. So I think that's one of the reasons why we get along. I would say, if anybody's curious, the thing that you and I have the most in common is our dedication to perfection, right? We're both workaholics. We're both competitive. We're both driven. You're successful in your own right. I'm successful in my own right. And so I think that's where you and I get along so well. So I did the easy one, which is what we have alike. I'm going to ask you a fun question on the spot. No, I did not prep her for this. What do you think our biggest difference is? Besides the fact, male and female, that's too easy. Something else.
I think like as far as a skill set, you're techie.
Yeah.
I'm not. Okay. I enjoy it and I love learning about it. And I think you're a really great teacher for it, which is good, because SEO is over my head. That's why I hired Ira, because I knew I needed it. How are we different? I don't know. How about our friends tell us? We got
there you go. I like it. She just flipped the script on you guys.
Yeah, they know. They know how we're different.
I don't even want to go there. I know
another way. I've got blonde hair.
Well, okay. Let's be clear. I was a towhead once upon a time.
You were?
I was, like, up till second grade, and all of a sudden, I don't know what happened. Something happened, and I got my hair started to get darker, and now most people think I have like either black or dark brown hair, which is kind of funny. But I don't have a lot of hair anyway, so it's almost a moot point. But yeah, but my kids, like all my girls and stuff, they're all blondes. Yeah, my wife is blonde too, which helps. But
my sister was a towhead for a long time. One of my sisters. So
I look like I was from San Diego when I was living in Vegas. I don't know what it is, but anyways. So
another way that we're different is you have 8 kids. I have 1.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, my wife and I actually just celebrated our 20th anniversary this past week. Last Tuesday was our 20th anniversary. So how about that? Something.
Boss recruiter Tina Oliver, I see it.
They're hitting pretty hard. I want to come back to this question. I get this question a lot, and I want to pepper in advice. So like you and I could just sit here and shoot the breeze all day, every day.
Yep.
And so, we're going to do plenty of that. But I also, I know people are struggling to find jobs, and between the two of us, if we can't answer the question, probably nobody can. But this is one that I get. So I know from my perspective how I would answer this question, but you are a recruiter, and we specifically haven't talked about this. So this is kind of like, an interesting, hey, what do you think? What would you suggest? So my premise is going to be, let's start from the fact that they are legally allowed. We're not talking about somebody who needs a visa, right? They're already here in school to just get a job. So let's presume that for a second, because if that's not the case, then obviously the answer changes. But they're a student, they're getting ready to graduate. I have one of my interns, Malvika. She is a master's student in Boston. So she's from India. She's actually in India right now because she was there visiting when COVID-19 hit. So she's actually there. But she's finishing right now online. But she is legally allowed to work in the United States. And so when she graduates, finishes her master's, then that's going to be her situation too. But she's my intern right now. So anyways, that's the question. Let's see what you got.
That's tough. So I'm assuming they're on like an F1 visa.
They got to be, right?
Yeah. Okay. I think it's hard for students in general to find roles right now, right? Even a lot of internships have been canceled. I would say the best thing to do for them is to try to target, find a target list of companies that they're interested in, get on LinkedIn, start offering. Now, people have different opinions on this, but for me, this is what I would do. And this is what I'll tell my son when he's ready, is offer, ask them if you can shadow with them, if you find someone, and then offer free work.
Yeah.
Free work. Just for a little bit.
It depends on the type of company too, right? So like, you're not going to do free work in major companies. They're just liability. They're not going to let you in. Google and Facebook, LinkedIn, wherever, right? If you're looking at major corporations, that's not going to happen. But if you're looking at something that's small to medium business, or maybe it's family owned, or if you have a referral in, like if I know you and you're the owner of a company and I've got a candidate that's in Philly, I could say, hey, you know, would you like some free help? You know what I mean? And so there's that. So I agreed. Let me take this another direction, because we're not going to spend like 15 minutes on these questions. So my advice would be from a different perspective. And the perspective is this: if you are identifying, in fact, I just taught my interns this, if you're identifying the companies that you want to work for, what you need to do is you need to start playing a little bit of a longer game. So don't reach out to folks that are like, let's say you want to get into marketing. And so you know that you want to work for company XYZ. Let's say it's a marketing firm, XYZ Marketing, right? So you don't reach out to the CEO or the HR person or the marketing person and say, hey, I'd like to work for you, and here's my resume, and blah, 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 because it doesn't make you any different than anybody else. Here's what I would recommend that you do. You find them, you bookmark them so that you can come back and see them all the time. And you just regularly, like 2-3 times a week, you're going through their posts and you're commenting, you're adding comments, and you're starting to like let them see you and they get to know you. And then after like a month or two of doing that, now start to reach out to them, because they'll start to recognize you. And now it's a whole different conversation, because they know you, they've seen you, and they know that you're not just a mooch. You can start to build a rapport with somebody, basically what I'm trying to tell you. And then you start to have conversations with them about your future, right? And I suggest an informational interview. Okay, an informational interview where you're reaching out to them, asking them basically for some type of mentorship. And like, hey, if you were starting over, you're in COVID-19 and you just graduated from Boston University, let's say, right? And you're there in the Boston market, like, okay, well, what do I do now? And let them give you ideas, because typically if you look at somebody like a champion and you're not asking them to provide you with something but information, a lot of times they'll give you, because that's just a time investment. That's not a money investment. That's not, hey, this person's asking me to go to the president of the company and try and find them an internship or whatever. So it's about the relationship building. A lot of people don't even, they never even think about it from that perspective. And so that's the advice that I would give. That's a Project Healthy Road nugget.
Yeah, I mean, you bring up a great point too, like bookmarking people and going back. It's really important. If you're going to be looking for a job, you've got to be engaging with the right people. So you have to make sure you go back, right? So I have some social media help, and I have someone that specifically knows to go to certain pages and make sure that I know there's something there if I need to respond.
Yeah.
So that's really important, just to get the right audience. And once you build that audience, that'll be really helpful. So there was a young woman, Ira, do you remember Amy, Hire Amy?
Yes.
Yep. Okay. I can't remember her last name. She's awesome, but she did that. She positioned herself like that for a while, right? Like 2 months, and she got a job that way.
Well, it was a lot longer than that, actually. But yeah, Hire Amy, you know, that's somebody that I talked to, and the thing with her was, you know, she had a skydiving picture. And a lot of people were down on that. They're like, this isn't professional and you shouldn't use that. And I'm like, actually, you know what? It's brilliant, because everybody will remember that. I've seen hundreds of thousands of, you know, people from the shoulders up, smiling, looking at the camera, and everything I teach you to do, right? In my courses, I teach that. But the fact is, if you're going to be a unicorn and you're going to own it, then what Amy did better than most people. And I followed her story. I'm connected to her too. And she's on Project Help You Grow. I mean, all those things, it was a good thing, but you know, her journey it took a while, but she knew what she wanted and she wasn't willing to compromise. And when she finally found it, I was like so excited for her, you know. So there's more than one way to do a lot of things, and a person has to own their strategy. The people that get in trouble usually are the ones that are wishy-washy. It's like, okay, well, I'm gonna go listen to 15 different people and they're giving me 15 different directions and they're gonna lead me 15 different ways. And then I'm gonna be insecure all the time about all of it. It's like, no, you know what? She knew what she wanted to do and how she wanted to get there. And she found the job she was looking for eventually.
And guess what? I hired her to do a small project for me.
There you go.
I did. It was only, it might have been like 15, 20 hours, but some Excel work that I needed. And I knew she was administrative, like, you know, guru. So I had her do that for me, and she was great. So I thought it was great. I love the idea too of the picture that she had. It's the same thing with, videos. People say, like, should you be all dressed up or should you be yourself in videos? I think you could do both, right? It's cool to show your personality.
I do goofy videos. I just got challenged to do freaking push-ups last night.
I saw.
That's ridiculous.
I would have dropped down.
I'm gonna come to Cayman Islands and I'm gonna buy you a glass iced tea. She could whip my butt probably. So I gotta be careful. But you know what I mean? It's like, okay, so what am I gonna do? It's my professional image. Am I gonna, not honor the challenge? Am I gonna be a weasel? Like, no, I'm gonna do the push-ups. And somebody was saying I should edit it and do the Rocky, talking about Philly, do the Rocky music and all that stuff. And I'm like, I'm just gonna keep this real simple. And I mean, obviously I edit videos for a living, so I could have done it. But I'm like, nah, that was not the point. The reason why I actually don't usually do those types of challenges is, first of all, I don't get the point. But second of all, I get challenged to just about every single thing on social media because I have a large network, right? So yeah, I get challenged by stuff. And the thing that got me about Virginia in her request was it was attached to the story about her mom.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay. And then I didn't know Virginia struggled with that same issue, So I was like, all right, well, I like Virginia.
Awareness. Yeah, it's awareness, which is awesome. But Ira, just back to the whole finding a job, you have to use all of your avenues, right? So just because you post your resume on Project Help You Grow and Indeed and, put yourself out there on LinkedIn, it doesn't mean someone's just going to come to you. So you really have to go out and try to find something too. You can't just leave it. Like a lot of people, say, well, I have a recruiter looking for me. Well, you've also got to do stuff yourself, right? It's like you really have to motivate. You have to do multiple things. You have to use a lot of avenues.
Let's talk about this in a very straightforward way. And you know that I don't pull a lot of punches. So here it is. You're not on board until you're on board. Mm-hmm. You understand what I'm saying? Yep. I don't care if you've got 3 different people that said they're going to hire you tomorrow. Until you've signed the paperwork, you pass a background check, and you're on the doles, then you're not on the doles and they could back out. I mean, you don't stop looking until you're done, right? If you start and stop, you could waste 3 weeks. It looks really good. I'm going to tell you a quick story, 30 seconds. Okay. So I was in California. This was back in, I think, 2002. In California, I was getting ready to move. My wife and I were pregnant. Well, my wife was pregnant, but anyways, with a daughter, we were looking to buy a house. We were going to move to Ohio. We were out there, and I did some interviews. Paychex was going to hire me. I was going to sell paycheck services, payroll services. Anyways, I go back to California. We button everything up. We move out to Ohio. They didn't have me do any of the paperwork, the official paperwork. They said, don't worry about it. We'll do it when you move out here. Great. Well, in the time that I moved out, they got a new district manager and there was a hiring freeze. No freaking job. I just moved my family 2,500 miles across the country. And now I had nothing. And I didn't have all the knowledge that I have now. Mm-mm. So for 4 months, I basically was without a job until I started selling cars to make a living. But, it was one of those things. The manager told me, so I had done all the interviews, I had done the testing, and he said, because I didn't have my college degree at that point, but he said, Ira, you scored higher on the math test that they made me take than the people with the bachelor's degrees. And I said, well, I was a senior in college. I just hadn't finished at that point because we got married and started having babies, and that made me need to go to work. So anyways, the whole point of the story is they wanted to hire me. I wanted that job. I was qualified for the job. I passed a background check, all that stuff. There was no problem. The only problem was a hiring freeze. You don't control the environment. If COVID-19 has not taught us anything, has it not taught us that, right? So don't stop. If you are looking for a job or recruiters looking for you, it doesn't mean you get to rest, because that's how we started the conversation. Like you have to, your job, if you don't have a job, is to find a job, whether you have people helping you or not. I hope you have people helping you, because you have people like Kelly and Ira helping you. You've got quite a bit of firepower there, but you still got to do it yourself.
Mm-hmm. Got to help yourself. Yeah.
Yeah. At the end of the day, So you're not going to do anything for 3 weeks. You're not going to do any research. You're not going to do any networking. You're not going to do any interview prep. And then when you get the interview, you're going to fall flat on your face. Because even if Kelly's helping you as a recruiter, she's an external recruiter or headhunter, if you will, and she's trying to find you a job, you still have to pass the interview.
That's right. I can't do it for you. Yep.
Yeah. That's why I called it Project Help You Grow.
Yeah.
Not Ira will do it for you.
Yeah. You lose momentum once you start sitting around and counting on other people.
You really do.
You reach out to people and you say, Ira, I need a job, or Kelly, or, and then all of a sudden you sit tight. You're losing momentum. You've got to use same thing with recruiters. I always tell, I train recruiters too. And I always tell them, don't stop until there's a butt in the seat. And even when there's a butt in the seat, you can't stop, because you never know what's going to happen. You have to be proactive and have pipeline for those clients too.
All right. I'm going to pull this one up. It looks like it's kind of long-winded, but let's see what it says. Advice to folks who've been out of the workforce for 5+ years. Yeah. So this happens. Yep. You want to pick back up in the industry they love. Okay. So for me, I'm going to go first. I'm going to let you talk. So for me, I don't think that this is necessarily a big problem, especially if you can show that your skill set is still valid. So maybe you need to go and do some new certification real quick and just, up your game. Also, you might want to start a rung lower than where you left off, just to show people like, look, I don't expect, I left as a mid-level manager. Maybe I'm going to go as a supervisor, or even just the regular position and not in management, and then kind of foyer back in there. The tough part with COVID-19, obviously, is there's more talent available, and so the competition is more fierce right now. But what say you?
You have to be flexible. So you might have to rebrand yourself. You might have to, like Ira said, start lower. You might have to be willing to, work in a different fashion. So maybe not full-time, maybe as a contractor, maybe as a temp to get your foot in the door. You may, you can't hold, I've seen people hold really steady at, like, I need to make this, and this is what I was doing before. That's really, if you've been out for that long, sometimes it's difficult unless you're doing a lot of education and you can show that you've been keeping up. I will tell you, my sister was raising her kids, and she was out of the market for a long time. And she did such a cool, I wish I had it. She did such a cool job description for, chief of the house. And she talked about, she was getting into an administrative role, and she talked about, taking care of the bills and organizing schedules with the kids. And like, it was actually, a lot of skills that were transferable, and she got an amazing job, and she got promoted to chief of staff. And I mean,
I want to bring up a couple other ideas too. That is great. Here's 2 other options. Okay. 2 other options. A, volunteer somewhere, right? So you can rebuild your resume volunteering, because most philanthropies out there need help. So you want to be an office manager. You've been an office manager. They need an office manager. Do it for 3 months, 4 months. Now you're back in. It's amazing how fast that 5-year gap just closed up. The other thing that you can do is consider contract work. Everybody is looking for, the perfect thing, but they're not the perfect candidate. You just admitted you're not the perfect candidate. You've got a 5-year gap. So you have to think outside the box a little bit. All these things we're talking about. So, find yourself a contract, and maybe it's, a company that's based in Seattle is opening up a project location for 3 months or 6 months or something like that. And you wouldn't normally be interested if you were current. So, they're probably not going to get the same level of competition of responses for that opening as if it was a full-time forever thing, especially if they're not paying benefits. So contract work a lot of times can turn into full-time work, but even if it doesn't, now again, you've closed the gap and you didn't have to volunteer to do it for free. So there's an option. And then another thing, start your own gig. I started Bowman Digital Media. Yeah. I got furloughed. I'm like, what am I going to do? I could look for a job. Yeah, I don't really want to work for anybody else. I'd rather, work for my clients. As a sales rep, I'm working for clients anyways. So that's what I did. So there's a couple different options. But I love what you were talking about with the Home Diva stuff. My wife, she works way harder than I do, and it requires a lot of skills. Maintaining the kids and keeping up with the bills and the groceries and all the different chores. Scheduling becomes quite complex, honestly, because there's so much to do with the household our size. So
she had great skills from that.
Yeah, there's no doubt.
And they correlated really well to what she was going to be doing. And she just got such an amazing job. And she's very, like, her and I are very similar too. So I helped her get the job, but I knew she would crush it,
So there's people who say things like this. How can I world? Okay, so I think he's saying, how can I let the world know that I'm available even at lower rates and willing to learn anything? I think this is the thing, Deepish. When you are trying to, it's hard. Okay, don't use words, use actions, right? So when you go to that interview, or when someone says, "Hey, what do you do? What did you do in COVID-19? How did you work on improving yourself?" Well, I took these classes. I worked on this project, or I binge watched every episode of Fill in the Blank Show on Netflix, and I gained 15 pounds because my ass was on the couch the whole time. Right? Like, there really are two different types of people. There are the people that are taking advantage of this time and improving themselves, and there's the people that aren't. And those are the ones that are usually feeling sorry for themselves. It's like, no, man, you can. Hopefully, you already have put yourself in a position to improve, study a skill. I asked this question back in March, I think. I said, what are you working on now that you have a little extra time? Because remote work for most of us meant no commute, which, even if we were still working, which I was back then, right? For ARC, I was still their employee. But I didn't have to drive an hour each way to work and home. So that gave me 2 extra hours a day times 5 days. It's 10 hours a week that I could do something. And what did I do? I started the social media concierge. And we were helping nonprofits for free. That's what I was doing, working on my graphics and video skills. And I challenged everybody. I said, what are you guys doing? Because now's the time. You have an opportunity. It could be reading books. It could be exercising. It could be going to a night course, doing an online school, whatever, right? So
whatever story is in your head is what's going to happen. Right? If you're telling yourself, like, oh, I can't do that, or it's too hard, or I never will, that's what's going to happen. So
I think his question is, how do I express it to the world, right? Like, maybe he's made $30 an hour for the last 5 years, and he's saying, look, I will accept a position for $20 an hour just to get a job, that, especially if it allows me to learn a new skill or whatever. And I'm thinking, okay, that's great. That's a great hypothetical. I mean, or a great attitude to have. And that is hypothetical. He didn't say any of that in the question. Yeah. But if that's the case, show me that you're willing to work on yourself by doing something. Yeah. Take some initiative, I think, is what I could probably.
Now, I would also say, if your resume shows bigger than the jobs that you're applying for, you're going to have a problem. So scale it back a little bit. It's just like working on, the ATS, like having the right keywords. Scale it back a little bit, because, if I have a director level applying for a staff position, that person's overqualified in my mind. So they're going to be way more expensive, and it's probably not someone I'm going to spend a lot of time with or even call, right? So I would say that's a good start. Your resume's got to kind of mirror what you're looking for.
Well, I tell people in Project Help You Grow every single day that now is not the time to try to scale the ladder by changing jobs, because most of the time, an application that's opened for consideration is going to receive so much volume from so many different candidates that are already qualified. Their resume, when you read it, it's like, yeah, they're qualified. Why am I going to even consider somebody who's 70% or 80%, especially with keyword matching, where they probably aren't even, a human's not even going to see it.
Yeah.
So I tell people, quite frankly, if you're looking to ascend the ladder right now, you need to do that inside the company you're already at. If you want to make a lateral move, that's where you change jobs, right? That's my opinion. I know that's contrary to what most people were doing pre-COVID-19, because the economy was good. Yeah. But with COVID-19, most jobs right now are tough to get if you aren't 100% or more qualified to do them, for those reasons.
Hi, Curtis. So,
there he is.
And we were just talking about the ATS. So Curtis is a great coach, like a career coach, right? So he can help you either as a life coach or to write a resume, cover letter, help you with your job search. But he also can help with either teaching you or doing, the ATS work for you, because you have to have the right keywords in your resume. So job ready today. Reach out to our buddy Curtis.
It's jobreadytoday.com. It's an EY, not a AY. So there you go. Job Ready Today is a page that I support. Curtis is obviously one of my good friends. He helps write resumes. He does cover letters. He helps with interview prep. He's got a website. You can hire him. He's got specials. I think it's the best special on all of LinkedIn, and it has been for a while. From Tuesday at like 5 p.m. Eastern time until the end of Wednesday, he's got some slots that he's open. I think it's still $1, right? And I think one's a cover letter and one's a resume. And anyways, check out his website, Job Ready Today. You can check it out. But anyways, he's good.
He also has a do it yourself, DIY resume for like $10 too, which is great. So poor Curtis, if he's not offering these things anymore, he now is. So
no, he is. I know he is. I see it. I see his posts, and you can follow he's got a business page on LinkedIn and his website and him, and so that's one that I've bookmarked, and I try to go and see him on a regular basis and support him. He's doing an amazing job for people.
He posts the most amazing motivational quotes every morning, and he writes them himself. Something interesting I learned about him. That's pretty amazing.
Yvonne, I just want to say thank you. And look at her last name. That's a cool last name.
Not Robinson. Yeah.
Check that out. So we got so I don't know why more people don't watch. Honestly, I mean, I'm giving away information on Project Help You Grow that you can spend thousands and thousands of dollars to learn somewhere else. The only difference is I make you read it or watch the podcast as opposed to, putting you on Zoom or something and telling it to you live. Although I do have my $20 courses. People kept telling me they need to pay. So I'm like, all right, if you need to pay to take me seriously, then how about $20? Is that enough? I don't know. Anyways.
I just have you on speed dial. I'm lucky.
Yep.
Yvonne, if we're not connected, I'll reach out to you and connect.
Yeah, he's my friend. He's your friend. This is a So the one interesting thing about Curtis too, when he talks, he's got a bass voice, right? It's like you're on the phone with Curtis.
He's so quiet too. I did a podcast with him. I had to take the music out of the background because he's so cool. He's such a cool dude. And my son picked out this groovy music, and he was like, "This sounds like him." I was like, "Okay." He's got a cool vibe.
Curtis, everything about him. Love his attitude. Love his mentality. Love his work. Yeah, he works hard as anybody. And I work really hard, so I don't throw that platitude around to just anybody. He's a hardworking guy. So
right. Our group is all like that. I mean, that's really nice. Who's this? Usually well.
Yeah, I'm trying to read this real quick because it says, "Hi, Ira usually walks around in different cities while dropping CVS, but I failed to get the job into the office." Yeah. So CVS actually is an employer that I put listings for on projecthelpyougrow.com.
I think he means CVs, resumes.
Oh, not CVS, the store. Yeah. Okay, TV. So here's the thing. This is a problem. This is exactly a problem that I'm trying to address. You're doing something like it's 2005 still.
Yeah.
You cannot take a stack of CVs anywhere because each CV, each resume, depending on where you are, right? CV, they're interchangeable in a sense. They're a different format style, but it's basically the same thing. So here's the deal. And if you want to learn the difference between a CV and a resume, go to projecthelpyougrow.com. I actually teach you that in my FAQ section. If you go to the FAQ section, you can learn that. But here's the deal. Either way, you have to customize your CV/resume to keyword match for the individual job listing. So even if you were going to apply to 3 different jobs that are very similar, if you don't do your keyword match, you will likely not get high enough on the results to make the interview cut. Okay. And everybody says, well, what's the magic percentage? And I want to talk about this real quick because this is an important thing for you guys to know. There is no one size fits all for any of this stuff. Because if they get 35 applications, you might have a 76% keyword match and still make the grade to get the interview. But they may also get 1,575 resumes, and then even at 98%, you won't make it. So it really depends on the situation. So what I typically tell people is look at the size of the business and look how common the role is. The larger the business, the more common the role, you have to assume that you need to get a higher percentage to make it. And you'll know by the response you get. If you get a response right out of the gate that's an instant, hey, thanks for applying, but we've decided to interview somebody else, then you know your keywords weren't strong enough. Or you answered a knockout question incorrectly, one or the other.
But so Ira, here's what I'll say. A good recruiter isn't just looking for applications, right? They're out there looking for people. That's where you've got to build your network, and you've got to be doing work for yourself, not just applying and assuming, oh, I applied for 50 jobs, I should get one of them, because that's not the case.
Well, if you've got a headhunter working for you, that'll help. Or if you're talking to an internal recruiter, they can, if you're talking to them and you've built a relationship with them, like you just said, then they can bump you around that screening process and get you in the stack anyways. So there's so much value in getting a referral or getting building a rapport with people and not just submitting a blind, because that's what we're talking about here, right? But if a person's walking around with CVs in a stack and just passing them out, they're not going to get any job where they're using the ATS. Where they would have a puncher's chance would be if they go into a small, medium business owner and get to talk to either the decision maker or the owner straight away. And I have done that before in the past. And so that's still a viable option. But again, strategies make fights. You have to understand what you're trying to accomplish and then develop a strategy that matches that, like hire Amy. Amy strategy wasn't going to work for most people for most situations, but it did work for her. It probably took longer than, I know it took longer than she wanted it to. It took longer than I wanted it to for her because it dragged on for a while. But the fact is, it still did eventually work. So when you're talking to Kelly or Ira or anybody, one of the first things that we're going to ask is what you're trying to accomplish, right? We're going to figure out your background, and then we're going to help you create a strategy that works for you. Like if I want to fight Mike Tyson, which I never would because that would be stupid. But if I did, for some reason, right? I wanted to be in the next, what were those movies he was in where he was in Vegas?
I don't know.
Anyways, somebody
was crazy. He's crazy, dude.
He is crazy. But anyways, if I wanted to fight him, you know what I would do? I certainly would hire myself a boxing coach and, somebody to like Coach V Fitness to get me in shape, like really in shape. Because Mike Tyson, even at 50, whatever, is still an animal, like in shape. I saw some pictures of him recently, and he looks like he could get in the ring for real. Anyways, but you know what I mean? Like, that's what I'm saying. I'm not going to just show up to the gym one day put on some gloves and hope that I have a puncher's chance. Cause they always say you have a puncher's chance. Like, no, you really don't. If you get in the ring with somebody who's way more prepared than you, they're going to likely whip your butt, especially if they are as tall and as strong and all those things, which I think Tyson's probably got me by 40 or 50 pounds, really. So, I mean, he's a trained fighter for years. He's in shape. He's better shape. He has all the experience. So, anyways, strategies, you got to have a strategy that works. Now, if you challenge me and Mike Tyson to a video creating contest, I think I probably got him. I
think you win. So here's what I'll say. This is a good way to get someone's attention, is to make sure that first of all, it's got to be the right person. You can't do this with everyone. But when I have people reach out to me that say, hey, I saw your company, Panna Knows. I know you do recruiting. I know you focus in the Philly market. I've seen some of your postings. You have clients that are SaaS clients, things like that. I really could use some advice or some help. Could you talk to me? I'm going to schedule a call. So they're not saying, can you find me a job? Here's my resume. That's what I get all the time. And I always refer them to Curtis. I refer them to Project Help You Grow. If they need help with LinkedIn, their profile, I refer them to Bowman Coaching. So, I have all these like avenues that I help or I'll send them. But if they want help, I'm going to help them if they approach me in that way, because listen, people genuinely want to help other people.
Yep. If you treat me like a person, which is what you're saying, and not your spam. I don't know. I got off on this yesterday. I'm so sick and tired of the DM garbage. Like, I connect with somebody and then they think they've got permission to spam me. But if you treat me like a human being, then I will go to the end of the earth and back to help you if I can. And like you said, if I can't help you directly, I usually know somebody who can, Curtis or you or Kirsty Bonner or whoever. I mean, right? So anyways, I agree. And Alon makes a great point. That's why I've left it up here. You know, you do want to be different, even if it's subtly different. And sometimes that's just the attitude. It's not even the words on the page. It's just like you're saying, the way they reach out.
Yeah.
Or maybe the fact that they follow up. And, you know, I've seen them in my posts for the last 2 weeks, and then they reach out to me. It's like, okay, I see you working. I see you trying. I appreciate effort. You know, I think most of us do.
Well, and it's the same thing with like you were just saying, with growing your LinkedIn network. You've got to engage. It's not just this crazy, like, hey, you know, let me just spam you with whatever I need. Like, what's John say?
I beg to differ. We were talking about, okay, so I use the word spam a lot. You guys watch me, you know, on LinkedIn, you know, I use this term. I hate spam. But in full disclosure, my father, he was my stepdad. My stepdad was from Arkansas. He's passed away, but God love him. He loved spam. I don't know what it is. So he made us eat it all the time. The only way to eat spam, really the only way to eat is just to leave it in the can and throw it away. But if you're going to eat it, you got to fry the sucker up so it's got a little bit of crunch, and then you make a sandwich out of it, and you put some like you know, some good bread, and you basically dress it up so much that you can't taste the spam, because that gelatinous goo is just not good. It's not.
How about just not buying it?
That's what I'm saying. My kids have never had the pleasure because my wife knows not to buy it. Anyways, spam, just don't do it. So what I mean by spam is junk mail. When someone, you know, you connect with them. Look, I just, you know, I don't work for ARC as of like 12:30 today. I got the call.
You work for yourself. That's awesome.
I work for myself. So anyway, so you know, I was going through my LinkedIn stuff, and I blew out like 15 or so people that worked at ARC. The only reason I was connected to them because, you know, I was trying to help support the company I work for. So now I'm not there, and I never talked to those people. So they're gone because they didn't treat me like a human being. So I returned the favor and said, see you later. I made room for 15 more people because I maxed out. So guess what happens? I connected with 15 or so more people. And would you know that I got more than 10 direct messages instantaneously, and not one of them was a real person. And I'm like, I should have just left, like, you know, good enough. But I'm always trying to help people. You know what I mean? So
yeah, I'll respond to everyone that sends me a nice note that's not about trying to sell their product or their service. If they say, you know, hey, thanks for, you know, accepting I respond to every single person.
Well, this guy, John Campbell, he is a financial advisor here in the LA area. I met him.
Yeah.
I met him at an event, I think. Anyways, you know, he and I have talked. He came to an open house of mine when I was still at ARC in, I think it was March. But anyways, you know, like, he will reach out to me like every 3 or 4 weeks or so, and we just chit chat. You know what I mean? Like, we treat each other like, you know, real people. And then if he ever needs something or I ever need something, he can reach out to me. He's built that rapport with me that, you know, I'm comfortable referring him business, and I think vice versa. You know what I mean? So it's pretty cool.
Well, it's the same way we met each other, same way, you know, we met a lot of these people here, is just engaging, building the connection, right? And then I can call a lot of these people here and say, can you help me?
Yeah.
Right? Or they can call me and say, can I, you know, and we'll do that for each other.
I think what people miss, that the whole point of all the social media stuff, whether you're looking for a job or whatever, is that if you treat people like people, whether that's the interviewer, the hiring manager, the recruiter, the candidate, like, just treat people. It's like the golden rule, you know, treat people the way you want to be treated. And it's amazing how much better everything will happen. Everybody will get along. Even when somebody says something you don't understand, then you just ask to clarify instead of getting like pissed off or offended. You're like, well, I'm not sure I understood what you meant. Like, you and I have had that a few times. We haven't talked about myVAB, but right, like myVAB, I'd put a post up in another room, and you're like, you're not supposed to be selling here. And I'm like, well, that wasn't my intent. So what did I do? You know, you told me, I clarified it. I went and I deleted the comment so that, you know what I mean? Like, it didn't hurt my feelings at all. It was just, hey, that's not what I meant. So it's all good. And that's,
well, when you have a relationship, you could say, it's good. It's good communication.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if I didn't know you and I didn't ask, or you didn't ask, you might have just, like, God, I can't believe that guy is advertising in this. You know what I mean? And it could have hurt our relationship assuming we didn't have one, but you know what I mean? Yeah. I think you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, totally. It's all about relationships. You've got to engage. The other thing is, here's what I get. You probably get this too, Ira. There's so many different coaches, like executive coaches, and I'll get a message and we'll connect. And then the executive coach says, so what is your biggest challenge? It's just a lead into spam. Like, how about I see Philadelphia?
I had somebody the other day connect with me on Instagram. So I usually don't respond to the hellos. I'm going to tell you guys that I'm actually starting to get out of my DM box on all my social media platforms, because you guys are not using it right. And it's irritating to me, because I'm trying to find real relationships and build real relationships for win-win. I'm not trying to sell you something in the DM or, have a sexual relationship. I've been married for 20 years. I have 8 kids. Give me a break. If you can't tell that I'm ugly and out of shape, then look harder. But even if I was even if I was a supermodel, I'm not available. My romantic affection is for my wife, and my love is for my family. So that is what it is.
Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah. Well, but I'm just saying that I'm getting hit on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's like, I have marriage proposals.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, they say hello, and I say hello back, even though I think it's stupid. Like, get to the point. Yeah. But you know what I mean? And then they're like, well, tell me everything about you, or what's your biggest goal for 2020? I'm like, yeah, you don't know me.
Right. Or, hi, I'm so glad to have you as a friend. I got that today from this woman. I probably didn't look at her picture when I accepted, but I should have. And she said, you're so beautiful. I'm glad to have you as a friend. And I was like, uh-oh.
Yeah, here we go. It's funny. I get
hey, Andrew.
Never mind. I'm gonna pull
that one. Come on, people like this stuff.
I'm gonna pull
a marriage proposal. Like,
yeah, I get that stuff too. But at the end of the day, look, it doesn't matter. Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube. I get people that wait for months to connect with me on LinkedIn. They just do, because I'm maxed out. The 30,000 is the limit. So it's not that I never have a spot open. I do, and when I do, I fill them. But the fact is, if you wait for that long to get in, and then the first thing you do is you spam me, guess what I do? I go in and I delete you, and I add somebody else. So if you're using those automation tools, first of all, it's against most of the policies. Did you know you can lose your account for that if they catch you? I get that question a lot from people, like, hey, do you automate this or that on LinkedIn? And I'm like, why would I? Do you think I would want to risk losing my account? Heck no way. Well, plus, it's authentic, and if you get those messages that don't match, like, tell me about yourself. Well, can you not read? Because you can go to my profile. I have all that stuff in there. Yeah. Where are you from? It's in my profile. You know what I mean? What do you do for a living? Yeah. I don't know how else to address that.
Where do you live? I got that again today. Where do you live? It's like right on my profile. Here's the way. So here's,
I'll say this. Tell me about you.
Oh, Ira has like 160,000 followers, right? But we max out at 30. Tina, and Paula, but we max out at 30,000 connections. So when I met Ira, he was already over that. But what I did was engage with him like a normal human being, right? So that he could see who I was. I could understand who he was. And then he made room for me. That's what happens. I'm not saying he's going to make room for everyone, but I'm just saying try to engage.
No, but it's funny. I will. I make room. I make room for people as they warrant it. Like, you want to be in my 30,000, and you've got to be better than the 30 that are already there. It's really that simple. I'm gonna tell you a secret. Some of my clients have hired me just so they could be direct connected. I still, no, you were there before you paid me, but I still believe that if we're doing business together, I should be directly connected to you. So I do make room for those folks. But if you stop working with me, you're also now in jeopardy of losing the spot as well.
What?
Yeah.
So wait, so if I stop working with you, you won't be my friend anymore?
Not you. And that's not what I said either.
I know.
I said some people hire me because they want to get that spot. And it's like, okay, well, pay for a coaching session. It's $100. And then, I can message him whenever I want.
Yeah.
But you can just go to Twitter and connect with me and message me there, but whatever. Follow me on Twitter, people. I need to build my
Ira's everywhere.
I'm everywhere. Right? So, but the thing is, the only one that I'm maxed out on is LinkedIn. So it's really kind of funny. But I've had a few people tell me this. They've admitted, they're like, okay, I didn't really want the strategy. I'm like, it's interesting, but I really just wanted to be able to direct message you for help whenever I wanted on the platform. And I'm like, that's so silly, because you could send me a message to info@projecthelpyougrow.com for free, or ira@bowmandigitalmedia.com, which I'm building that page out right now. So that's what I was doing earlier today.
George Costanza. You do kind of.
He and I are like brothers.
That's really funny.
Joseph and I, well, we call each other Batman and Superman. But
someone the other day said you and I.
He made me. This guy is, like, he's my LinkedIn bestie. That's what I call him. So, yes. He made me a thing the other day, a GIF, because I like to make GIFs. And Joe is a quick study now. He's been learning, so he uses a Mac. Yeah, some of the stuff we do is a little bit different because he's using ScreenFlow and I'm using Filmora 9. But anyways, he made Iron Man versus Hulk for me.
He posted it on something today, right?
Yeah, he uses his Giphies.
Can you post it there? Try to post it. Yeah, it's cute.
It's so much fun too, because he's like, well, I really like what you do, Ira. Can I copy you? And I'm like, yeah, you can copy me. I'll make them for you if you want. I don't care. Like, that's how close we are. Like, it doesn't offend me. A lot of people just rip me off and steal my ideas and don't even ask. They just do it.
Jedi.
It is what it is. A true Jedi. Yeah, this dude, these two are like, they're right there with that Star Wars stuff.
Star Trek. Last night it was Star Trek for.
Yeah, like everything on my phone was like, I couldn't even have. I'm like, okay, you guys need to like go to another
way doing something like normal, like swimming, and he came back and he was like, "Whoa!" All the messages about Star Trek. Paula is like on it, and where's our
all right? So just for full disclosure, so everybody knows what we're talking about, we are in a chat room with about 15 or 20. I don't know how many people are in that room. Yeah, 10 of our friends. And anyways, we chit chat about the weirdest stuff sometimes. And last night they were chit chatting about Star Wars, and I was actually pulling my hair out because I was getting some email stuff set up, some of the techie stuff for my business in the background. Anyways, and I'm like, I can't ignore these notifications. And then I had stuff going on Slack, so it was kind of like, okay, I got stuff going on. Let's talk about myVAB. I want to talk about myVAB before we go.
So it's small to medium-sized businesses supporting small to medium-sized businesses. So it's myVAB.
Yeah.
Full advisory board.
Let's put this up. So I want to talk about it because at first I didn't even understand what the heck it was. It was just like, you want to do it. And I want to support you. Yeah. So you came to me and, we talked about the logo and stuff, and I made the logo.
You're my first board member, and you did my logo.
Yeah, so it's cool, but let's talk about what it is. I mean, so you're helping small to medium business owners who are doing business with usually other small to business, medium business owners. But we've got IT stuff in there. We've got health and fitness. We've got marketing and HR and finance and social media. And I mean, just the sky's the limit. There's like 30 different rooms now. But what it is, we use Slack, which I love. And you can get to connect with people, but it isn't a pod or anything like that, right? Like, I hate pods. I'm just going to be completely transparent. If you have not been following me for more than 5 minutes, you've never heard me say it. Let me tell you, pods are inauthentic and they don't work. But what makes myVAB work with Slack is you have access to people directly in the private room, so you can have a private conversation, but also you get to know them where they're at. So each one of these rooms has 2 board members now, almost.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we're still filling them up a little bit. We are. But so you're not stuck with just like the opinion of one person, and they're not competing. Usually they're from the different perspective of that particular, whatever that genre is, which is cool. So you get different experience, and they don't have to feel like they're trying to outdo each other each time too, which is nice. Right. but it's very what's the word I'm looking for? It's very much like a team. Like people get like we're all rooting for each other, and I'm meeting some of the people I'm meeting. Like I didn't know them before myVAB. So I think it's really cool. It's something that you can spend as much time or as little time in a day as you want. Like some days I actually forget to turn it on until the end of the day. I'm like, oops, I forgot to have my Slack channel open. Oops. But the nice thing is, like, most of the people in there know, like, if it's something important, they can reach out to us. They can just call us or text us or whatever. You know what I mean? It's like you don't have to communicate through the Slack channel. It's just an option. It's really great for getting to know people. But then once they know that you're all in, anyways. And you haven't had to remove anybody, right? I mean, I don't know anybody. Yeah, nobody's had to be removed.
No.
There hasn't been any drama or anything that I'm aware of. I mean, it's.
My philosophy is everyone has something to learn and everyone has something to teach, right? So there's no egos. It's like, let's share. So the board members are, they're accountable for making sure they're sharing and responding. But members can also do that. We're a little over 50 members and board members combined, and I am adding more, but we do make sure they meet certain criteria.
Right. It's not. This is by invitation only, right? Mm-hmm. So you could follow the page, which I'm actually I'm getting ready to. I'm going to share the page here on LinkedIn in the comments.
You could share Slack too for a second. I think they would see how cool it is.
You want to do that?
Yeah, why not? I don't mind.
So let me launch it real quick. Hang on, Slack. So yeah, this is the way. If you guys aren't familiar with Slack is like a team building communication thing. It's a Microsoft product, I think. Anyways, hang on a second. I'm gonna share my screen. Okay, so there we go. All right, ignore the flashing GIF in the background. But so we have this. We have board members only channel. That's just for the leadership team, and then we have general business and health and wellness and human resources. And this is my channel right here, social media. So somebody will come in and they'll, maybe they're going to share a post, say, hey, what do you think about this? Or they'll have a question. Like, anyways, I don't want to share that because I don't want to get the person in trouble. But one of our members was in some hot water with the platform about their invitations, and so they got quote unquote put in jail, and they were asking for some advice on how to.
That's right.
Yeah, I don't want to share that because I don't want to get them. I don't want to get them in trouble. But like Adam is my friend, so Adam actually, I recommended Adam for that role, right? And
he's
so so he fit the profile, and you were asking for people that might work, and I said, hey, what about my buddy Adam? And so you vetted him, and then you let him in, which is super cool. So, but we have experts. So like if you want health and wellness, I don't know if you guys can see this. I'm actually gonna try and make that a little bigger. So. But we have like leadership,
Marty Montrell.
Yeah, and recruiting and hiring.
It's me.
There's this lady I never heard of, Mrs. Robinson.
Sales is Jim Sherry. Social media is you.
Yeah, so there's Jim Sherry. Like Jim, I'd never met him before, but he's someone that you had worked with in the past, and
he's amazing. Yeah,
Professor Pete, who was just on my podcast the other day.
He's awesome.
Anyways, that's what myVAB is it's a community of kind of like, I don't want to say like-minded, but it is like-minded, but we're business owners or we're executives. Usually our businesses have a certain level of success too. Yeah. It's just like, hey, you just started something and it's not been vetted or tested or anything like that.
We're impactors. We're all people that can have an impact on our business directly. Yeah. That's what's important.
And the whole point of it is to support each other, to build friendships, and to encourage each other along the way as we're chasing our goals. So, anyways, that's myVAB. Kelly, we are out of time.
Can I say one quick thing?
Yeah, of course.
Well, I am going to be interviewed by Damon and Andrew from Exit Your Way on Thursday night. So. Yeah, I'm going to ask. I know Damon said he's driving, but he's going to post in there where to see that. It's not on LinkedIn. I think it's on some other social sites, but he might do the recording on LinkedIn. I don't really know.
They usually go live on Facebook and YouTube, and then they have the Remo stuff. But we're not doing the Remo call. They usually have a call on Thursdays, but this week because of 4th of July, they're not doing it. But in full disclosure, I now am a contractor for Exit Your Way. They actually they brought me on board officially last week. So I am the
awesome.
I'm the director of sales and marketing for them. How about that?
That's amazing.
So
you're my director of sales and marketing too.
I appreciate that. So what I'm trying to tell you is before too much longer, you'll actually see them on my show on a regular basis. We're gonna work out, what we're doing. But I had the print ed with Ira be on the page. That show's been scrapped because I'm officially no longer, working in the print business. So I'm gonna come up with like an Exit Your Way thing, and we're gonna have people like you on the show too, right? So the myVAB list is like the idea, like not all at one time, obviously, but those types of folks, small to medium business owners that are good in their field, so we can introduce them to people and maybe help them out a little bit and get to know what they do. And so you're surely to get an invite from me once that show. What's that show?
Follow Panna Knows.
Yeah, hang on a second.
Follow Ira.
Yeah, let me do this again because they know me. I want to make sure
about me.
Yeah, I want to make sure they know you too. So Kelly Robinson, Panna Knows. Just so I'm gonna pump her up a little bit, you guys. Okay, so this is the Ira shining the light on my friend Kelly here. The very first person who actually gave me $1 for Project Help You Grow for all the stuff that I did, because I don't charge recruiters or employers or job seekers. I don't charge anybody anything for my service, right? It's just a philanthropy. But Kelly said, "Hey, Ira, I really want to step up and help you out. What can I do?" And I said, "Well, I could use sponsorships." And she knows I've made it no secret. My ultimate goal is to be able to afford an app, to make an app and to be able to afford to run it. But it's expensive to create. We're talking thousands of dollars to create a good app. And then I also need to pay, I think it's a $50 fee or something per month to run it on the App Store for Google and Apple after. There's a fee for that. So it's not free. So it's actually cheaper to run a website than it is to run an app, is what I'm basically trying to tell you. So, she sponsors. I'm looking for more, but she's the only one. Now, to be fair, I also did get a donation from Curtis at Job Ready Today. He never asked me to publish that, by the way. So it was just, one of those things. I just want to mention it. So those are the only two companies who have ever actually given me a penny for the work I do. Now, to be fair, Dealers League, who created the website for me and they maintain it, they didn't charge me to create the site. They do charge me to maintain it, a maintenance fee, but they didn't charge me to make it. So there's, I hate to say that they didn't donate to, because they did. They just didn't do it in the form.
It's well done too. I mean, it's
a great.
It's well done. Yeah.
So it's stable. I get people who try to hack it, but they keep me safe, which is
global.
And so, anyways, I want to let people know your heart, right? So you're not just somebody who says I support you. You actually scratch a check. It's actually usually Venmo.
Yep. Yeah.
But you give me money, and I appreciate that. Now the other thing is, Panna Knows, that website is amazing, right? So I want you guys to, I've got it flashing here for a reason. I want you to go there now, and I want you to bookmark it, and I want you to, if you know somebody who's hiring, or somebody who's got an HR department, let them know about Panna Knows, because Panna Knows is not just about filling the seat. It's about helping keep the seat filled once the seat is filled. That retention, it's cheaper, way cheaper to keep an existing employee than it is to onboard and all that stuff, right? Yep. So Panna Knows for all that. And then don't forget to follow Panna Knows on LinkedIn, which is right there. Okay. So Panna Knows, just type in Panna Knows. There's only one on LinkedIn. And
send me a request personally. I'll accept it.
Yeah, accepting our request. And then I want you to also, I want you to go to the myVAB page on LinkedIn, if you'll do me a favor, and follow that, right? I mean, even if you're not a small to medium business owner, even if you're a job seeker or whatever your role is, if you follow it, that'll help us, because the more followers a company page gets, you're basically telling LinkedIn that this is something that should be promoted. And when we make posts to help people, it'll reach more organically that way. So I'm the social media chair or board member or whatever you want to call it for the myVAB. So it's my job to help them build that thing up. So help me do my job, please.
Well, Apple Pie. Is that Ira?
I'm Apple Pie. She's made
funny.
She's maple syrup and I'm apple pie.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah, I am. Kelly is amazing. She is amazing. Like Kelly is somebody that I respect. Like I said at the beginning of the show, we have some similar traits. You know, former sports type backgrounds with the athlete's mentality to figure out what the goal is, to create a strategy to get there, and then to put in the effort it takes relentlessly to pursue that goal and to do everything with excellence. And that is who Kelly Robinson is, and that's who Ira Bowman is, and that's why we get along so well. Yeah. Yeah. So anyways, well, thank you very much for coming on the show. I'm going to put some music on and we're going to,
we're going to groove out.
Yeah, we'll groove out. And
thanks, guys. Thanks, Ira.
I'm sorry I don't have Eye of the Tiger for you, but you know, it's not.
That's right.
It's not free music on YouTube, so I have to play YouTube safe. That's why I do that. Anyways.
So funny.
I'll see y'all on Friday. Follow me live. I will be on Friday. If you want to mark your calendar now, mark it for 5 p.m. Eastern. No. Let's do 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. How about that? So that's what we'll do. So we'll do Friday, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern.
Okay.
You'll see Ira follow me live. I don't have a guest scheduled yet, but I might schedule one. You never know.
Eastern, you can bring your cocktail for happy hour.
Hey, at 4 o'clock on Friday in California, they're doing.
Okay, that's right.
Something about 420. I don't know. Anyways, I'll see y'all later. I just have to check and make sure that I'm off before I pull the plug.
Are you done? Are we done?
Not exactly.
Oh, are we still live? Oh, yes.
We're not dancing yet. Will people see this? Probably not.
Yeah, they're gone, right?
Now we're dancing.